All right, we're about to have a bunch of rehousings today. I've been setting up cages for the last 3 days. I ordered a bunch of stuff on Amazon. One of the things I ordered was New World Habitat by Penplax. I feel bad because I wrote down somewhere I saw these in somebody's collection. They had black lids though. Look like these, and that's the shape of the tank where it kind of bows out in the front. And I thought they looked cool, and I love trying new stuff, so I ordered two of them, and I like them for medium fossorial slash semi-arboreal species. So what we have here is a lot of substrate for this one, because what we are about to rehouse is the, not Pequotus violet. What the heck is this? Oh, Orphnaecus species Panay blue from the Philippines, I believe. And for the Filipino keepers out there, keep these guys, feel free to chime in. You guys have always been great telling me where you find them and everything. This cage, this should have been rehoused actually a couple months ago before its last molt. And what happened was I ordered new cages for them and they weren't going to work. So I had to order something else. So this one, I'm just going to publicly admonish myself, should have been done a while ago. So we have our catch cups ready to go. I don't know how well this one's going to go. I'll try to pull all the junk out. Sorry, buddy. I need forceps. That's the next thing I need to buy. All right, it's hunkering down in the corner. Now this has several water dishes, as you'll see. Oh, there it is. Might be able to get it now. Oh man, these got big. Oh, there it is. I got a leg trapped. Oh man, they got big. And make sure this is actually on, because that would be a nightmare. Let me get this one out and give us some more light. There he or she is. I don't know how well that's showing up. Kind of see it. A little bit of a glare. Let me try. I can actually see. Yeah. That'll be the dangerous shot. Now, I've seen some folks that theirs are showing quite a bit of blue. Mine, if you get them in the right light, you see a smattering of it, but it's definitely not like a P. Sosme. So what we have here is these guys, there's been a lot of conflicting information about how they live. I will say that when they're small, obviously you can see they made a bunch of webbing and burrows in here, and that was a nightmare. What I got set up here and what I did in here is semi-arboreally. So I gave it a little bit of height. This one's at a bit of an angle, but what I'm guessing it's probably going to do is go behind here and make its den in here, probably web up around this area. So this should be a good container for it. Let me see if I can get this one pointed out and in the right direction without... No. That was bad. What I want to do is aim it in here. Man, it's really just pulled the whole cork bark down. Fix that. Never had that happen before. Dummy. I don't know if you can get a shot of this. I'm going to go ahead and... Let me try to jam this in here a little bit more. There we go. All right, if you want to come over the top and get a shot of this. Make sure it's on these. Orphnaecus species Panay blue. There it is. I'll turn the light even more. Showing up okay? Yeah. There we go. These guys have been out quite a bit lately. This one's looking pretty poorly, so a couple more feedings will probably be in pre-molt. But again, what I'm looking for it to do is go over here. It will be getting a water dish in a minute, and I will be doing the same thing with the other one. And we got gnats. Where are the gnats coming from? Must be coming from the horrible freaking situation with gnats lately. They're driving me nuts. But there we go, all set. So this will give it some spots, some more, obviously more room to grow. Set up its den under there, and hopefully we'll try feeding it again tomorrow and see if it's ready to eat. Yep. All right, so it's been a couple weeks since we rehoused the Orphnaecus species Panay blues, and I want to do a bit of an update because one of the discussions with these guys is whether or not they should be kept arboreally. When I first had mine set up, I had them in 16-ounce deli containers like this one here. These would work just as well, and I will tell you why. A lot of people say that you want to give them some space because they are arboreal. However, like many species, whether they are arboreal or not, as slings, they tend to be more fossorial. They dig, they web up. I had them in something like this here. You can see in the beginning of the rehouse. So we started them off in something this size. Then we moved them to something this size, and then now they are in this one here, which is about a foot by, I believe, 5 to 7 inches in the middle, and then about 8 inches tall, I believe. So good sized container, and it seems to be big enough for them now. But as you can see, they did not. These are bigger specimens. They're probably about 3.5 inches or so. And what they did was built little burrows beneath the cork bark. So there's the webbing. They went under it, and I spoke to people who said they have found these in the wild, folks from the Philippines. So please chime in if you guys are out there. I'd love hearing from you. And I know some of you actually find these guys out and about. If you could send me pictures of where they live, that would be great. You can see it in there. Actually, there it is in the thing. And you can see they both set up the exact same way. So there we go over here. This one has webbed underneath. It's done. You can see this dirt in here is where it burrowed. So this didn't just set up residence underneath the cork bark and web up. It dug and burrowed. So still seeing more signs of like fossorial tendencies. They will web a lot, but I'm not seeing the semi-arboreal traits that people talk about. So to keep these guys, I do start them on moist substrate. Again, I had them in these at first, and then somebody said, no, you're supposed to keep them arboreally, and I looked it up, and I couldn't figure out which was which, so I ended up moving them into something a little more arboreally. But if you want to give them a little extra room, you can give them something this size with some anchor points, some cork bark, some things with anchor points, and they will web the heck out of it. They'll also do a little bit of burrowing. Juvenile size, something this size would work. And I keep the substrate moist, gave them water dishes, but don't be surprised if they fill the water dishes completely up. And as adults, as they've got put on some size, I found that these guys, I opened this one, I'm used to Billy shooting it, but she was making dinner, so I left her alone. As adults or larger specimens, I don't think you need to keep it as moist as when there's slings. I've let it dry out in between. But what I do is use my handy dandy bottle here that has the tops in, and when I moisten it down, really make it rain. So almost simulate a downpour and then let it soak on in. You can see that's why I use the vermiculite, because you can see the water soaking in really nice. Goes down to the bottom. What you want is these bottom layers in here to maintain moisture. But they've grown at a pretty good clip. I think I've had these guys 3 years now, and they're about 3 inches total. When I got them, they were small slings. They grew well, they eat well. You don't see them out all that much as slings, but as they got older, they were out much, much more. These are not a beginner species. I want to make that very, very clear. They do pack a potent bite. They can be very, very quick. I don't know if you see the rehousing video before this here. You can see that they can move pretty quick. They can boogie, and they could deliver a powerful bite. Plus, the fact that you have to keep them moist. There's 3 factors there that I would say would not make them good for a beginner keeper. But something along the road, you know, if you start getting into more fossorial species, more difficult species with different care requirements, I would definitely recommend these guys. They are quite beautiful. Although mine are not showing those stunning blues that I've seen on other people. So we'll see what happens as they grow. So there we are, Orphnaecus species Panay blue from the Philippines. Awesome little species. I don't know what the common name is. I'll look it up and put it in under there. And hopefully you guys can find these out and about. I know the Orphnaecus Philippinus are all over the place now. And I think these guys, if you hunt around, can find them. So there we go. Thanks so much for watching. Again, normally it's my mug on these, but I'm not going to bother doing an outro for this one. So if you want to check out more of my videos, I'm going to put them here and here. And if you'd like to subscribe, I'd very much appreciate it. It's going to go right about here. There we go, as it zooms in on my hand. So again, thanks so much for watching. Please feel free to leave a comment, and I appreciate your time.